Welcome to Maverrik Live. I am your host Luke, and today I am joined by Terry Heath.
It's good to be back, Luke.
Your premier shot right there. So today we're going to be discussing how to have better meetings, and the reason I've got you down here for this was whenever we were having our hangouts or calls, you was the man in charge to go for the meetings.
Oh, it has been many, many months of Zoom meetings and Google Hangouts and stuff like that, meeting after meeting after meeting.
So whenever there was a Monday morning meeting or an email dropped into our laps of there's going to be a meeting, you as a person in charge.
Yes, unfortunately, I would be the man in the middle of it.
You feel like it's a cross to bear?
It's, the Purgatory of Meetings. Is pretty much.
You know, you're going to say, we're going to be discussing how to have better meetings going forward, but meetings are they in general to get something done, essentially.
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that people have had to get used to is more meetings throughout the whole pandemic period, all of that last 12 months. Just because people are disjointed, working from home, nobody's no longer running around the office having those quick conversations. So now we're having to plan and be a bit more efficient in what we're doing and make sure they get people together. Yeah,
you get those little drop-off periods where you walk past someone's desk and go, oh, did you get this or did you get this? You didn't get that anywhere during the last year because of obviously what happens. So yeah, now we've had more scheduled meetings rather than just drop-in sessions. I know that some people had like working calls where they would literally just turn on their cameras and just work as that goes on. It kind of feels a bit weird though, because you're closer to the person as you've ever been in an office scenario, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and you have to be careful not to, go picking your nose and everything. And remember, you're actually on camera.
Exactly.
All of that's still going on, even though you're working at home.
Do you remember the classic clip every time there was there's like the BBC clip where the guy's having an interview, and then the little girl walks in, or like, hey, and then you see his wife sprint into the room and drag the child out.
True. I think we've all had those episodes of things going on. I can still remember one night doing a webinar at home, and my wife it was happening just as my wife came in from work. And so I'm there on screen, and I can see in the corner of my screen the door of the room opening very slightly and this head starting to come round. And, you're there going, please don't enter the room. But
No. So we've got obviously Mav, the office dog. And I've got my dog Elsie, and sometimes when she would bark, it would set Mav off, so it would have their own form of meeting throughout our sessions. So I'd have to quickly mute myself just in case it got going.
That's it. We've all had it. I think I had one day on a call with a client. It was going really, really well, and then all of a sudden you remember it's bin day. And so outside of the window, where does it? You just clash, bang, bang is going on, and you're like, right in the middle of the meeting.
So I've created this PowerPoint here, how to have better meetings. I hope you appreciate all the work I'm going to put into this, all the transitions.
It's a work of art.
Look at that go.
Whee. Oh, look at this.
Boom. So the first one, which is kind of, I'm going to say it's not a jab, because we had our regular meetings going forward, and they are necessary in a point. But don't create reoccurring meetings when they're unnecessary is the first point I want to talk to you about.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of the time you'll go through the performance of something, and you might create them too many at once, in a sense, where we'll check on the performance of this in a few days, or once every Monday we'll go through this element of business, something which doesn't need to be said constantly, I'd say.
I think one of the key things is just don't have meetings for the sake of having meetings.
Yeah.
Everybody has that same response of like when it hits your diary and you go, ugh, another one. Have the meeting because it's got a purpose. And if that you need a series of meetings, it's 2, it's 3, and it's fulfilled its purpose, then stop it.
Yeah.
There's no point in dragging things out and saying, hey, well, let's just meet every week just to catch up on this stuff. There's a lot of that stuff can be done through email. A lot of that stuff can be done through other mediums. It doesn't have to be jumping on a call. The one thing you've got to remember about calls is that if you've got somebody on a call, they're not doing anything else.
Yeah, you've got their attention. All the attention is on that call.
The attention's on that call, but there's probably other things they've got to do in their working day. So if you keep pulling people into repetitive meetings all the time, it's going to take away from the productivity.
Yeah, as a copywriter and someone who creates content, it's annoying when you get into a flow of writing and doing something and realizing an alarm goes off. Oh, you've got this meeting now. And you find it hard to get back into that flow really quickly because it can disrupt your whole process.
And that's been some of the comments from our content team that have had that, and we understand that working relationship. But I think in any area, if you get onto a topic or you're working on a particular project and you're really in the flow, and then you think, I've got a break now because I've got to do this 15-minute catch-up.
Yeah.
Planning when they happen is just as important as if they should happen.
I really agree. Back. So I was going to add a star wipe, but I realized I could just keep it consistent with the old twisting. So coming in with questions, there's another one. So we're talking about not creating reoccurring meetings now. So when you do create a meeting, it's for a reason.
Yeah, absolutely.
To answer a question.
Yeah, and so if you're going to have the meeting, then at least let people know what it's about, what the agenda is, the topic is, so at least they can come prepared. But it should be everybody's responsibility who's coming to that meeting to come prepared. If you just turn up on spec and then you're trying to play catch up while you're on the call, and then someone says to you, what do you think? You haven't had the time to process it, think about it, and give a confident answer to things. And that normally can lead on to other problems.
Yeah, and also you can find out soon enough if no one's coming in with anything to answer, where it's just like, okay, we're here now. Now what? You get that like brief period of, all right, we're all here. It's like, oh, okay, well, this is just, what we come in for.
And for
what should we do now?
For anybody hosting a meeting, there's that awful moment when you say, right, has anybody got any questions?
Yeah.
And it just goes tumbleweed time.
I was listening to a podcast all about, this is why I probably created this Maverrik Live right now, and they were talking about how there's a bias between the person who has created the meeting and everyone else. So the person creating the meeting will always think to themselves, oh, this is going really well, we're really getting stuff done, it's really productive. Everyone else is going, oh, kill me now.
It's pretty true, yeah, absolutely. Yep. So what we got?
Next little, stop the fizzle out, which is another thing which we're talking about. I think I've got, two of these points are quite similar actually. Stop the fizzle out and let people leave are very two similar ones. But I want to talk about the fizzle out first of all, because this can be, when you had a good productive meeting, you've talked about actions, and then everyone sort of sits down and stays there waiting for someone to action the leaving of the room.
So it's time to go, yeah.
Yeah, so you're kind of slowly talking, like, conversation's flowing, it's really going fast and quickly in your face. Then it starts to slow down into one or two comments for another group of people, or an answer gets drawn out too much where it doesn't need to.
But that's it. And alongside that as well, you've got the issue where things just rabbit trail off into other topics.
Yeah.
And so now half of the people who are on the call, it's irrelevant to them. And they're just sitting there, as you say, just waiting, when can I leave?
Yeah.
It is at that point. Having a structure to it, people knowing it. If you're setting a 15-minute, 30-minute, 60-minute meeting, whatever it is, respect that time.
Yeah.
Because people will have planned their day around, okay, once that's finished, I can get on with this, but now it's dragging on, or they're sitting there listening and not sure if they can leave or should they stay.
And then they create those little pockets of groups of conversations where it's not a meeting, it's just like a few people chatting in a room.
Yeah.
So I could turn to you, we're in this big meeting now, and I turn to you and go, oh, how do you think about the football results? And then we have a little conversation.
That's it, there's a sideline,
with someone else talking about, oh, did you see the new movie that's coming out? Yeah, great, cool.
Yeah.
So you have those tiny little pockets where it's not a meeting anymore. You've just had you've turned it into like a common room. That's right, yeah. Which is like
we've all had those experiences, and they're good. And I suppose in the last year, it's been good to have had those moments because we all needed that connection as well as doing the business.
Yeah.
But it's still, you have to stay with some structure. Okay, you allow 5 minutes or so, to do that. But if it runs into 15, 20 minutes, then it's like, come on.
Yeah, now you have no one at their desks, no one working, no one trying to go for a goal objective.
And it's lost all purpose.
Exactly. And then when we're talking about let people leave, it isn't just the end of the meeting. Sometimes people will have stuff they need to go and action and do. So having sort of a drop in, drop out sort of mentality can actually be beneficial in the long run.
Absolutely. And depending if, let's say we had a longer call planned around a particular project, somebody might have to come in with information, give us an update of where we're at.
Yeah.
And once that information is delivered, there really is no other point of keeping them on the call because we're just now occupying their time with something that's irrelevant to them. So it's giving people that access and letting them know, yes, once you've done that, you're free to leave.
Yeah, we've brought in this expert on this one element of the business, but now we're going to talk about our entire structure from start to finish with that person delivering right at the start.
But that's it, it's like from our perspective, let's say we look at sales figures or whatever it is, and you've got the content team sitting there on the side going, I'm not really bothered about sales figures, but now I'm going to suffer, sitting through 10 minutes of let them go and be productive somewhere else.
Yeah, you don't need to be blunt about it. You don't need to be, okay, you've done your part, leave now.
Yeah.
You can be nice about it, but you can say, okay, this is maybe not pertinent to you guys, so if you want to leave, you can. Give them the option, so allowing them to go if they want to is probably a big deal of that.
Absolutely, yeah. We've all sat on meetings where you just, off camera you're picking up your phone and you're trying to do other things, or you're quietly trying to tap on your keyboard and do that email while something else, because it doesn't relate to you anymore. Yeah,
it's when it becomes like a personal conversation between the two people. That's just a little placeholder. Yeah, when someone gets singled out and they have their conversation, and if it goes on for too long, everyone else sort of fizzles out and goes, oh, okay, this is just their little intermediate conversation. Which is another point to add to it, is if you're going to have those one-to-ones, make them one-to-ones. Don't have like big group meetings for a discussion with one person, I'd say.
That's it, yeah. You know, one of the worst things you can do is suddenly single a person out for that one-to-one in-depth discussion with everybody else, you know, tuned in and listening. You know, it makes it really awkward for that individual. And it's not very respectful or honouring to that individual to do that. So if there need to be one-to-ones, take it off. Yeah. Take it away from that meeting, set up a separate one, or ask them to stay on once everybody else has left, and all that sort of thing.
So cool. Any other points you want to talk about with your meetings?
Any other points? Meetings. Oh my word. Yeah, I think I'd just come back to my original point, is that sometimes we can set schedule. I can't even say that word. schedule a meeting just for the sake of it. So make sure it has its purpose. Yeah. It's not just another repeat meeting, and just don't have meetings for the sake of it. Because nobody likes to sit there all day, just having to listen to all the people and do their bit and then waste their time.
Do you think, like we talked about before, that no one's coming back into the office and workplace? Do you think meetings are going to have a nicer reaction than they used to because of the social element of it?
Well, I think from our perspective, in the way, hopefully there's less of them, because you can have that walk up to the desk, have that conversation, get that information, whatever you need, without having to gather a team of people onto a call. It's done a lot quicker and a lot faster. So, as all the workplaces start returning into their workplaces and their offices and stuff like that, hopefully things start to get a bit more streamlined.
Amazing. So if you are having your meetings and you want to find out how you can make better meetings in the future, try and implement some of these tips that we've talked about today. If you have any funny meeting stories, just let us know in the comments below. I'd love to read them, because there are some amazing ones on there. I believe I read one the other day where someone actually brought in a clown because they didn't know how to finish a meeting. They had another 30 minutes, so they brought in a clown.
Seen that one, it's good.
It was amazing. So if you have any great stories, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe to us as well on YouTube and follow us on our social media channels. We'll be back on Wednesday for our next Maverrik Live. Thank you, Terry, for joining me.
Thank you, Luke.
And thank you all for listening.